Good morning and welcome to the Above Ground Leadership Podcast, episode 5. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time to the channel, please subscribe so that you don't miss any of the content. We have a guest on today's episode. Our guest today is a longtime friend, my brother CW5, entrepreneur, businessman, Jimmy Polk. Jimmy and I have been friends for over 20 years. I met Jimmy and his beautiful family in Hinesville, Georgia. As I mentioned in previous podcasts, Jimmy has played a huge role, an instrumental role in my development as a leader through his mentorship, and his friendship. So it's a no-brainer to have him on the podcast. He's an entrepreneur, soldier, family man, and an unquestioned leader. Welcome, bro. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. So the convo kicker, today's topic is going to be loyalty and leadership, or leadership and loyalty. They're tied together. The combo kicker, relationships are the cornerstone of leadership. When there's a personal connection, people are more inclined to go above and beyond, which means loyalty needs to start with the leader. By definition, loyalty is a strong feeling of support to either a person, place, or cause. Too often, employees, players display their loyalty to leaders because they've been taught to do that because it's right, and that it's their way or the highway. Some leaders abuse their loyal subordinates by asking them to do more than others. Loyalty is not always saying yes. It's standing by your beliefs until a decision is made. And once a decision is made, it's go time, as if the decision is yours. All right, Jimmy, let's talk. Let's talk leadership and loyalty. But that's the combo, man. That's the part that's scripted. All right, so we passed that. All right, so now we're just going to talk before we get into the 10 things of kind of what leadership and loyalty means to you. I'm all about loyalty. I believe loyalty comes from the top down, right? I think a lot of times people believe only the subordinates, the players, the staff is supposed to be loyal, and I just believe that that's not true. Loyalty starts with the leader, right? Because you want people to really go out and run through a wall for you. They got to know that they don't have to worry about themselves. They know that they can, that you care. All right. So that's what leadership and loyalty means to me. What about yourself?
I to piggyback off what you're saying, it's true, man. If you don't run through walls and kick doors down, and haven't done it before, how you expect them to be loyal to you? So you should have gone through some of the things that they're going through to be where you at, to be effective. That's a true leader,
Right.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And before we get, because I don't want to skip through this, man. And like, I know you said that you heard when I told people about you being my mentor, and I'm not you didn't know, I didn't tell you. It's true. It's funny. I was on Pete's podcast and I mentioned it, and you texted me the next morning. You said, "Man, I did not know that." Right. Because that's what it's about. And as we've talked before, when you're a leader, going back into the previous episode 4, when you're a leader, you don't get to pick who's your mentor. That's why it's important to really match that audio and video, walk that walk, or talk the walk that you talk, right? Because you never know who's watching. And as Corey said, we were speaking yesterday, it's always somebody's watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, man, it's I know you say Dwayne will be watching. I'm sure the whole New Image family. Because you guys are just so instrumental into my development, as a leader. Because when I looked at you from a leadership and a success perspective, that's what I saw. Right, I saw leadership. I saw somebody getting it. I saw somebody with a vision and all those things really, resonated with me, because I was like, man, I can do that, because see, sometimes, as I tell my kids, I tell, younger leaders, sometimes, you don't have to recreate the wheel, right? You can just go out and you can see a vision, and you almost can just mimic it, right?
Yeah, it's nothing new under the sun, man. That's why I was looking at some quotes and I look at a lot of memes and stuff like that. And I get excited when I see something that or hear something that sounds good. But it's nothing new under the sun, man. Like I said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already out there. I believe leadership, I believe you're born with leadership, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? I can show you the characteristics on things, on what you can do to develop yourself as a leader. But a true leader, man, to me, are born, man. They're born. Being a leader is it looks glamorous, but it's not, man. It's hard, but it's not hard to those who are true leaders. To us, it's a challenge. You know what I'm saying? It's a challenge to empower, to encourage people, man. And like you said, I never knew you was watching. But my goal was I just was so excited about my mission and vision statement that I wanted everybody to come up. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't make it seem like it was all about me.
Right.
You see? And I think that's what allowed folks to get attracted to what I was trying to do. And they adhered and kind of followed the path I had us going in, right. Because of that. And that's the only part that I knew. I know now, looking back, but I didn't know what I was doing back then. I was just, man, let's get it. It's out here for us. I'm telling you, I know we from Hinesville, but forget Atlanta. We could bring Atlanta to Hinesville. That was my mentality. Right. Got them excited, and they thought the same way. So I said that to say this: as a leader, you have to get to a point where you're so influential, you cause folks to buy into your vision.
Right.
That to me is the definition of true leader. Those that can influence people in such a manner, they're like, man, we can do this. Keyword we.
Right. And that's something, that you did. Like, it's crazy as I look at this, because that's something that you did really well. Like, at the end of the day, you're my boss. But it didn't feel that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? It felt like we was in the shop together, we working together, and that was something. And of course, I think I've been blessed. Well, I know I've been blessed to work with some phenomenal leaders. And it has continued in my coaching career. But all the ones, and then through that time, you work with some ones that wasn't so phenomenal, right?
Right.
And you learn from all of them as you go.
Right.
But each one that I can put a finger on and say, okay, man, this, I'm gonna take this. This is good. They all had that special ability to make you feel that you wasn't working for them, you was working with them.
Right.
Right. And I believe when a leader can tap into that quality, right, they can really inspire the team to go. You know what I mean? Like this, like you just said, this is not me, this is not you, this is us. Like we need to do this, right?
Yeah.
And that's huge. And that's something that I believe you really did really well. Just from a shop standpoint, because it's crazy. We never worked in the military together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We never worked. We both warrant officers. We never worked in the military together. However, it was that your leadership, your genuine leadership, your blend of your understanding that work and life is a balance. All right, and we'll talk about that. That's one of my qualities. But that was outstanding, man, and that was great.
I have to say this.
Okay.
Ray, I didn't know I was doing this.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I say when I look at Leaders Are Born, and I didn't know. Now, with all the education and going to some of these courses and stuff I've taken, I'm like, man, I've been doing that. I've been team building. I've been doing all this other stuff. Didn't know I was doing it then back in 94.
Right.
You know, when I first opened the shop. Never knew that wasn't even I just was doing it because I thought that's what needed to be done. I always looked at things, how would I want things to be if I was on the other side?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I made my decision based upon that. What would excite me to this and that? And I based it off of that. And it worked, man. And now they have all these different names for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
oh, right. Yeah, it's tag for everything now. Right. Yeah, man. That's again, leadership is so dynamic. And you said earlier, and look, we ain't even got into the kid, but that's fine. But you said earlier that leadership is tough. And I say that a lot, man, you know, because it's just so dynamic, and it's tougher when it's not genuine. You know what I mean? It's tougher when it's not genuine. It's tougher when you have to fake it or you have to try to be, you know, coy. Because at the end of the day, your soldiers, your players, your subordinates, they know when, man, you get that, you don't really care. You know, they know. So, all right. So look. You know, as we talk about leadership and loyalty, I came up with 10 qualities to inspire loyalty in your team. All right, we'll go through our 10 and we'll talk about them, and you know, and again, we have good combo. Number one, good leaders roll up their sleeves. Leaders who inspire loyalty never ask a team to do anything that they ain't willing to do. Like they get out, they don't mind getting the job dirty. They don't mind staying late. They don't mind coming early, because that's what leaders do. Because when your team can see that you're willing to get in the trenches with them, right? They don't have a problem doing it. Now, I won't confuse that and see, and it's a fine line of leadership, leaders getting in the trenches and working and then getting in the weeds. Right? Because as a leader, you got to have, especially when you're the leader, you got to have that broad spectrum view. You got to see the whole landscape, right? You can't because you can't make a decision that's going to have a third and fourth order effect that'll kill you. But at the same time, you gotta get in the shop and cut with everybody else every now and then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta get out there. If you're doing, you know, in sports, you got to get out there, and if you're saying be in shape, if you're saying you got to do this, you got to get out there and get that done. You know, as a soldier, of course, there's so many things you got to get out there in the foxhole with the soldier. So again, leaders don't mind, you know, rolling their sleeves up and just getting out there and get dirty. What you think about that one?
No, that's true. You know, we learn from the military. You got to lead from the front. You know. And that's the bottom line. You lead from the front. Even if you physically don't go out there, you can still pitch something to folks in such a way to let them know, oh, I've been there. I've done that. I'm where I am because I've done these things.
Right.
And then they know, you know what I'm saying? They'll know. And if you just do a little bit of it on top of what you've done, man, they're going to follow. Right. They go, he's been there, done that. You know, if you get like a drill sergeant patch on, they'll look at you be like, hey, he been there. Been there. I'm not even gonna trip. I ain't gonna question why he went at PT this morning. He been there, done that. Or if they see a combat patch on there, come on now.
Right.
Sarge or chief, man, they be doing the thing. So and you can just do a little bit of something and they still gonna follow because there's other things you've done that you've shown them. They know to do, you know. But you again, you can't be scared to roll up the sleeve. If you haven't done it before, you know, it's hard. It's just like on a civilian side.
Okay.
If I'm a person talking to somebody, if you can't talk to me about marriage counseling if you ain't never been married.
Right.
You can.
Excuse me.
You can, but if you've never been through this, or if I have an addiction, but you ain't never smoked, drank, yada yada yada. I know you took the courses, the psych course. Yeah, but you don't know.
You don't get it.
You know, and that's why I look at some pastors. Most of the pastors who are truly effective are the ones that been there, done that.
Right.
And when they speak, you can tell. And more people are drawn to that because I remember when he got caught up before and he came through, so I can listen to him to let me know how I can come through.
I can get through it too, because you
Exactly.
know, we are a sum total of our experiences, right? We are a sum total of our experiences. If you ain't been through nothing, it's hard to really amount to anything, you know, and because, man, you know, that's the word right there, right? That's the word, because you have to, and you know what? You don't necessarily have to go through anything.
Right. I was about to say that, because some folks will look at it, but, oh, wait, what you're saying? No, I'm saying the truly effective folks have gone through. People are often will listen to them first. I'm not saying somebody who hasn't gone through it and has the education to kind of get folks right. They're effective as well. But I believe that folks who've gone through it are more effective, can get where they need to get in your mind a lot faster than, you know, it would take somebody who hasn't gone through it.
Yeah. Amen. That is like I said, that's the gospel right there, because you have they have a sense of empathy, right? That they can reach out, they can really dig into that. If you haven't, you just haven't. I had a boss one time to say, Chief, I don't know what I don't know. Right. You know, and that's just what it is, man. All right. So number two, leaders recognize the need for work and life balance and encouraging in their team. Now, this here one is a big one for me. Like I believe, you know, if there's a balance in everything, and I'll use like the college athlete, right? You'll tell them it's a balance. You have your academics, right? You have your athletics, and you have your social life, right? All of them equally important, right? In your triangle of being successful, and you having a successful time in college, right? None of them can be out of whack, right? Because if you're having too much social life, your academics and your athletics are struggling, right? If you're doing too much athletics, your academics and your social life are struggling, right? You get what I'm saying? So either way, you have to have that balance. And so good leaders not only inspire that, right? But they lead that by example, right? They don't hold meetings at 1900 just because they can. Yeah. Right. When they know that people, you know, have family lives and have that. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, there's times where you got to get out there and get it done. You got to do what you got to do to make mission. But they respect their team's time, and they don't ask them to do unnecessary things just because, you know, they understand that the need for rest and downtime is crucial to productivity. And that's, you know, that's like very important, you know, again, from a military, from a civilian, from a sports, it doesn't matter. You know, you need that balance, and it's very important that the leadership encourages that balance, and the encouragement starts with them. What you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's so important, because oftentimes people would focus more on their work, and then their family goes to the side. Right. They don't go to the games. They don't during a 4-day weekend, they'll come in that Friday, but they don't have to. Right. And there's no balance there. And then when you find out later on, when you don't have that connection with your child, and you said, well, I was too busy trying to get my career together. No. Exactly. You have to find that balance. And it's important for leaders to recognize that and to ensure that they're, you know, just like for instance, like the barbershop. When there's a holiday comes up on a Monday, I don't care, federal, well, whatever holiday is, we're off, because I'm into, you know, you being with your family. I don't want you to work. And it was like, man, but everywhere else is open on this day or that day. Right. But today's a holiday. Yeah, but it's not well, we're gonna recognize it, because you're gonna need time to be with your family and do some other things that you like to do. Okay. And they didn't like it. Well, I look at all the money I missed. I could have worked that Monday. Yeah, but still, I'm into this having time with your family. So you won't come back on me later and say, man, me and my wife, we separated, because she said I'm always at the shop from 9 to 9 every day, all day. And can't blame her because she had no other time to do whatever. And then this has happened. So I don't want to be that guy. So it's important as leaders to recognize that. Colin Powell said he cannot.
That's my guy.
He can't stand. He called it a busy bastard.
Oh.
He said he can't stand it. He said he hate him. You know why? He said because that's a person who comes in 4:30 in the morning and leave at 19:30 every day just to be seen and don't get nothing done during the day.
Hey, don't confuse activity with achievement.
Exactly, and that's what's happening. He said he can't stand them. He said so when he see a lieutenant, a major, or a colonel do that, he said it turns him off. He's just doing it trying to show, and he's still not getting enough done. Right. He said I like folks that he said I could care less if you come in at 8, 9, or 10, as long as during the time that you're there, you're making things happen. And ensuring that these products are being are done, I'm good.
Hey, it's funny you say that. I had a boss, he's a friend of mine now, Major. He was, I think he might be Colonel now, but Major Haley at the time. He said, "Chief, man, listen, it was in Okinawa." He said, "Man, you're efficient." He said, "Chief, I don't see you. But everything I ask you to do gets done. So I have no complaints." He say, "Man, just keep doing what you're doing, right?" He say, "But I tell you efficient." He say, I'm in this office 12 hours, and you in here. I mean, you pop up, send me an email with all the products, right?" Again, it's about being efficient because, as you know, I'm all about family, right? I'm all about If my kids got a game, it has to be, if I ain't there, I just couldn't be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my wife, Miko, she keeps the calendar full with trips, so that's so it's a balance, right? And you have to find that balance. But at that same time, I work my tail off, right?
Oh yeah. When it's time to get it in, we get it in.
Right.
And folks, they don't mind. They understand that because they know on the tail end of it, when it's time to have some time off, your leader gonna make sure that it happens.
No doubt. All right. So number three is be authentic, right? Now this one is huge for me, because I'm all about being genuine and kind of that's kind of what led to the name of the podcast, above ground leadership. That's what I am. People don't have to guess how I am or what's going on. I think sometimes leaders they struggle because they're afraid to be open, right? Mm-hmm. They're afraid to admit that they're weak, right? They have a weakness, not necessarily weak. Good leaders show strength through their courage, and I mean show strength and courage in their humility and their vulnerability. They show that they're normal. They show that I bleed. Like I remember when I meet a young, new class or, I try to make sure that they understand that we do some of the same things. Like we come from some of the same places. So I'm not different. I get up, I wake up, I put my pants on, same way you do. And people are loyal to people with real strengths and weaknesses. They just understand that. They like, okay, man, Coach did it, or Chief did it, or Sarge did it, Ray did it, however, and being authentic. Because if you see me downtown, right, you see me with my family, it's just wherever you work with me at, I'm the same person.
Right.
I'm the same person. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to, I'm going to say this story real quick. I was in MRT, Master Resiliency Training at Fort Jackson in 2014, maybe 2012. And the Sergeant Major, he was one of the cadre, and he had this story how he came into work every day and put on his Sergeant Major hat, right? And he was Sergeant Major. People didn't really speak unless spoken to. He had this Stonewall persona, and then when he left for the day, he took his Sergeant Major hat off, went home, he was dad, he was boom, boom, right? And he said for years, that's how he was. And his thing was they drained him, living on two lives, right? He said, so one day he decided when he got to the office, he wasn't going to put the sergeant major hat on. And he said that day changed his life. He said he walked in the office and he spoke to his secretary. He said, hey, good morning, how you doing? And he said the secretary looked at him and was like, good morning, right? And so he got in the meeting, and normally when he get into the meetings, he was all stoic and, stiff faced. He said, hey, how's everybody doing this morning? All right, and everybody was just looking around like afraid to speak back. He said, what, y'all didn't hear me? And again, the gist of the story is, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be your genuine self. Be authentic, man, and people respect that, right? They'll respect that. Everybody know, no one's perfect, right? And no one's trying to be perfect. I just want your best, right? And as a leader, that's kind of what I tell them. I just want your best. Like, give me your 110%, right? Yeah. Give me your give me your 110%, and we can live with that.
Yeah.
We can live with that. What you think? Being authentic.
Yeah, authentic, man, is so important, man. I tell people all the time when I talk, because I talk to the Warrant Officer Basic Course, Advanced Course, ILE, the WOSI, and it was difficult because they're on different levels when I speak with them. But I tell them all, even when I get to talk with the W4s, W5s, and my wife hates when I say this. I'm not no smart guy. I said, and they're like, oh, why? I said, listen, I'm not. I said, but I'm smart enough to surround myself around smart people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because I may be strong in one area, but I know this other guy who is super strong. Like because I'm a W5, they expect me to know everything about G-Army and IPSA and all this stuff like that. And they always try to troubleshoot, and I look at them and I'll call one of my W4 partners who this is all he does is G-Army. You know what I'm saying? And so I surround myself with him and other folks that this is what they do all the time. And then I come up with whatever answer they have, that they need. But they expect me to, when I tell them, I say, listen, I may not have the answer, but I'm telling you, I can get it. I can get it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm honest, upfront with them. I don't go there and, I'm CW5 and Polk and we're going to do this and no, I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? I remember where I came from and we're always in the learning business. Ain't nobody got to the point where they got it all figured out. You see what I'm saying? So and once you're authentic like that, I'm telling you, people will open up to you. Mm-hmm. People will tell you what's really going on or what's the need, and
you need that feedback.
Exactly. So it's important to be authentic.
Yeah, because if you don't get that feedback, right? If you don't get that if you're not authentic, you don't get authentic feedback, right? People don't know you care. They like, man, I ain't even not wasting my time. Mm-hmm. I ain't even what I read this before. They say people who kill the messenger will stop getting messages.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right?
That's good.
All right, so number four, leaders cast vision often, right? Now, this is something that I definitely remember you doing, right? I definitely remember leaders cast vision often. They continuously often remind their team and their company of the goals and the vision. Like, this is where we're trying to go. This is what we're trying to do. As you said earlier, yeah, we know this Hinesville, but we ain't gonna treat it like that, right? I remember when I was coaching AAU, and I had we went to sponsor team. We was out there grinding, trying to do fundraisers, getting money up there so we can travel and play against the big boys. And I remember telling, hey guys, this division, like, what make this team we finna play tomorrow or play this weekend, ultimately in the championship game, what make their program bigger? Because they got a shoe deal or they didn't shoot, and they bought into it. When guys and when people buy into your vision, right, they understand it. And so as a leader, you gotta take each project and each task, and you gotta make sure that it's going towards those goals, right? And the team is buying into that, right? Because when a leader makes a task or makes sure that there's no task too small or too insignificant, right? Stuff happens, right? People get stuff done for you. And that's like a vital to any team or company's success as a whole.
Man, I'm telling you, you are on point, because again, I didn't know what I was doing, Ray. But I remember back in the mid 90s, I used to take all my barbers and stylists to Atlanta to the hair show, to the Bronner Brothers hair show.
Bronner Brothers, yep.
And you went to one of them too, but we've been doing that.
I went a couple times, yeah.
And we've been doing that since '95. And I remember we used to go up there, and of course it's Atlanta, and we come from Hinesville, and they're seeing all these different hairstyles, and they see folks, in these motels and stuff like that. So one year, I went and got a hotel for everybody at the I forgot the name of it. It's across from the Fox Theater. But anyway, I know it cost me about $300 a night. But I got it for everybody and had nobody pay a dime.
Right.
And I rented a van. We all went up there, and they were just like, man, we on top of the world. And then they went to the hair shows and went to the seminars. So when we came back, I said, guys, we keep talking about Atlanta. I said, we can do a hair show here in Hinesville. And I remember we had our first hair show in '99. And when we had that hair show, I've never seen Fort Stewart Club, the office side, the parking lot was so packed, people was parking on the side of the street. The MPs had to come, and it was so many people that showed up. And we were like, again, I'm saying we were like the talk of the town. So every hair show we had after that, we got to a point where we were having 2 hair shows a year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because they were excited, and it was bringing out their creativities that they did have, from poetry to designing. I was like, man, again, I don't know what I was doing, but it was inspiring them to think outside the box and let them know we can take this thing to another level, and they did. But it started with a team building and all that stuff, and showing them, introducing them, this and that, and letting them know, guys, we got this. I'm telling you. I see this. Y'all just got to just follow me. I'm telling you, it's going to be effective for all of us.
And it's so funny when you have vision and you're trying to show your vision or display your vision to your team, how it all ties back up, because they got to care for you to even get a foot in the door, right? Yeah. They got to know you care, and they got to care for your vision to go out. So yeah, that's big time, man. That's big time. So number 5 is good leaders invest in their team's lives. Now, this is something that I truly believe in, right? All right, because any leader, to be a great leader, leadership is relationship driven, right? I remember, I don't know where I was at, but we was doing something, and one of the things was asking what was one of the top things in leadership, and my choice was relationship, like, because relationship is and that's it, right? Yeah. That's it. And as leaders, you know the intimate details about your team, right? You know the name of their kids, right? You know their significant other, their milestones, and their like anniversaries, birthdays, and when they go on vacation, you ask them, man, how was your vacation? How was your day? How was yesterday? Even in JRTC, when my kids come to class, how was your weekend? Of course, our kids, they don't really, today they don't talk, right? You ask them how's their weekend, they think you're trying to, hey, right. Do something. Yeah. No, you ain't do nothing. I'm just trying to see, how was it? How was your weekend? Yeah. But that's important, right? And because they know you care. But again, just like number 3, being authentic, right? Being authentic is, they can tell when it's disingenuous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can tell when you just asking because the book say on this day you're supposed to ask. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you have to really, understand that they're individuals. They got lives just like you, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to put yourself in their shoes, and that's kind of going back to what earlier when we talked about the empathy and being there and understanding, because we've all had leaders, man. We've been in positions where we have friends, family, soldiers that go through things, right? And sometimes, even if you haven't went through it, man, I feel you, I empathize with you, I understand, because I care, because I'm invested into your life. Like listen, I want you to succeed. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact, right? I know for a fact that we not competing.
Right.
I ain't trying to beat you, right?
Mm-mm.
Now, I'm trying to succeed myself. I'm trying to make it, right? I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to grow, but we not competing. And I tell a lot of students this, that your time through high school and your 4 years or 8 years in college, 6 years in college, this is the time as before you become an adult, right? Before you get out there, where you got people that's willing to pour into your life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about they're willing to pour into your life, and you have to embrace that. All right, you have to embrace that. You have to really go out and really do that. And the good leaders, though, they continue to do that as they get into these roles into the civilian sector, and into the military, and to coaches. Where as they get out and you get people underneath you, you continue to invest in their lives.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more productivity you'll get out of your folks. Right.
Real quick on invest. I'm gonna tell you how I invested. Every meeting I used to have with the shops, even when I had the 3 shops, when I had the one in Savannah, and I used to get them together, especially during Christmas. I used to always take them to any restaurant they wanted to go to on the East Coast. And after that, we had a good time. And I remember I used to have a meeting at the beginning of the year, or I had throughout the year. I used to always end my meeting with, because I'm into, money management and the power of money management. You know what I'm saying? Because I already knew back when I was in my late 20s when I opened the shop that there's going to be an end date when I'm going to have to retire. So I want folks that fall under my wing to be just as successful as I plan on being. So I used to give classes about your credit score, the power of ensuring that your credit score where it needs to be, even the monies that you make at the shop, how much money, what part of percentage that you put to the side. If you want to look into investments and stuff like that. Because you're a barber, you can do other things, not just being a barber, and I was leading and showing them, listen, not only am I doing this, I'm doing an Army thing. I did a real estate thing. I still was dibbling and dabbling. And especially when we're young, especially you got that energy, do it, right. And so I thought I was showing them and at the same time investing in them. And some folks listen, what I'm saying? Some folks listen at the end of the year. I used to tell them something as simple as this. Guys, all the tips that you make, don't even spend it. Save every dime of it. I said, if you just make a minimum of $10 to $20 a day, I can't help 20 times 6 days equals $120. I don't make math. I said, I can't help 120 times 4 equals whatever. And I can't help that times 12 months equals this much. This is how much money you should have at the end of the year. You see what I'm saying? This is how much money you should have saved at a minimum. And that's just from your tips. That has nothing to do about the money that you make. Right. And then some guys say, oh man, well, I use that to pay my gas. I use that for my lunch. You're gonna do that anyway. I'm saying if you want to really see if you can do. So I had simple things like that. Some folks did it at the end of the year while everybody running around trying to get Christmas presents, trying to stay in the shop late to make more money. That one person just sitting there just chilling. Oh, I already took care of Christmas. I'm good. You see what I'm saying? So that was my investment into folks out that work for me and still work for me now.
And it's funny, it's even for those who did it and those who didn't do it, everybody heard it. And so what happens is at some point they do it. Right. Some do it sooner, some do it later, but they heard you. Right. Yeah. And some and it happens. Number 6, leaders, they act as mentors, right? They act as mentors and they help their team develop professionally and personally. All right. As a leader who inspires his team, inspires loyalty in his team, they ask questions. They ask questions about what's your goals. I remember when I was in my boss, my head coach now, we just talking about this. I remember having a soldier who didn't want to get promoted. He was good, like he freaking good, right? But he had no interest in getting promoted.
Mhm.
So we had a conflict. I had an issue with that. I had an issue with that, right? And we end up parting ways. Like, hey man, you gotta go work. You gonna have to go to this squad here because like over here we trying to make it. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, he was good. All right, but sometimes, you know, as leaders, you have to go out on a limb. You got to promote and hire somebody who got that passion and drive over that skill and background.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you got to say, man, you know what? You know, this here might work, and sometimes it might burn you, right? But that's why leadership tough.
Yeah.
Right, because sometimes you gotta really look, you know, and say, man, you know what? I'm gonna give this a try, right? Because every leader understands somebody you got to start somewhere. So always I hate those get those job interviews and this, man, you're so qualified, this and this, you ain't got the experience. But that's why I'm here. I'm trying to get the experience.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the experience, right? Because good leaders, you know, they look for potential and promise. We look for potential and promise, and then you encourage, you challenge, and you teach. That's what leaders do. All right. You got to encourage them, you got to challenge them, you got to teach them. And that's where the growth comes from. So good leaders are mentors. What you got?
No, coach, teacher, mentor is my thing.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? But we got to, and I'll say this near the end, but we have to have a discernment type spirit and understanding. We can't, everybody's not a leader, and everybody don't see what we see.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm not only just going to identify those that I know that, you know, I'm going to try and give you as much knowledge and mentorship as I can. But when it gets to a point when somebody doesn't want it,
right,
I have to move and conserve that energy onto the next person. And I feel bad because we're in the helping business, so we think we can help everybody. And I've learned, and it took me to over 50 years old to really, and I feel bad.
We still don't get it, Jimmy.
We still don't get it, man. I still get hurt all the time, but it's just in me. It's just in me. I'm not saying we think we can change folks, but man, you can't see what I see? Doc, you can take it here. What do you mean? Nah, man, that ain't me. That's how you do. No, I've already made met some of my goals. I'm not even talking about me. We talk about you. I'm telling you what I see. I thought the same way when I was your age for a second. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, man, when we come up against challenges like that, we try, but don't exhaust all your ways. Save some of that energy because there's some folks out there that want to get what you got to give them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's big, man. And I can, so whenever asked the question, you know, the strengths and weaknesses, when I talk about my weakness, right, that's it.
Yeah.
Weakness is almost having too much you can help everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And some people that's a strength, but it's a strength to a point, right? Then when you reach that point, you gotta let go.
Yeah. You
gotta let go. And I think one of the toughest things is letting go when you're trying. Like you see it. I know
it hurts, man.
I know she can do this. And what happens is, especially from a team standpoint, right? From a leading a team standpoint, you end up taking away from others.
Yeah.
Because you're pouring so much of yourself.
It's draining.
Into one, right. And so that's something that I mean, it's you know, it's that's the toughness of leadership, right? Yeah. That's one of the tough things that we have to deal with, and you know, that's a challenge, right? And it's one of those weaknesses that I have that I'll probably get better at, and I've probably gotten better at over the years, but it's probably something that I'll never get rid of.
No, you ain't get rid of it. I'm here to tell you. You're not. I'm glad I have Lisa to keep put me in check. You know what I'm saying? When I take it personal. I take it personal, and man, it's just in us, man. It's in any good leader. It's in us. I'm telling you.
So number 7, when you're trying to inspire loyalty, good leaders never where they always praise publicly and reprimand privately, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll say that, right? As I was writing this one, it's a time and a place for everything.
Right.
I tell my kids, like my mom used to say, God bless them, wherever you act up at, that's where I'm gonna act up at.
Exactly.
All right. Like, and you tell people that you're gonna get, you know, you'll meet somebody and they'll say, man, Ray, greatest dude, he great dude, man. He, you know, he take care of you. You'll meet somebody else, they say, man, Ray, the biggest butthole I know. I tell them believe them both.
Right.
They both telling you the truth. I act accordingly, right?
Right, exactly.
Accordingly. Right. Again, but when it comes to praising publicly and reprimanding privately, I believe in that. I believe that's how you get more out of them. I don't believe in to trying to motivate and lead you out of fear, right?
Right.
You know, I don't want you to be scared of me. Right? I want you to do what's right. I ain't gonna shame you or belittle you and right. for your mistakes, because I want you to listen. I want you to try hard. I want you to try to be great, right? And I know that trying hard and being great, mistakes happen.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want you to be undisciplined. I don't want you to be making mistakes just to be making them, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I really want you to know I'm gonna pat you on your back. I'm gonna be the one clapping the loudest for you when you're making things happen. But at the same time, I'm gonna be the one to tell you, hey, that's not right. No, that's not the way. That's not the way to go. So again, that's you know, praising publicly, reprimanding privately. I believe that's a big key. That's important to that loyalty. Because you know, as I said in the opening, loyalty isn't just good. You know what I mean? Loyalty isn't just, okay, I'm gonna tell you when you're doing well, right? You know, being loyal is like really truthfully looking at you and say, hey, no, that's not it. You know, and so that's my take on it. What you have on praising publicly, reprimanding privately?
It's real simple. You praise them publicly and reprimand them privately. But this is the thing. If we go back to being authentic, if you're authentic, they get it. You know what I'm saying? They'll get it. They know if you call them, hey man, let me talk to you later. I remember I used to want to talk with one of the barbers or any of the soldiers about something that they did crazy. I was like, hey man, let's go to lunch. Let's take a walk and go to lunch, something like that. Nobody knew what was going on. And during that time, I reprimand them. But I reprimand them in a way that they get it. Because I try to do it in a way, if you was in my shoes, what would you do based upon what you've done? I said, come on, man. We don't do that. You know, and you have to kind of talk with them in that type of way. Well, and depend upon who you're dealing with, because some folks you just have to get in deep with them because that's the only thing, that's how they understand. Right. So depending on who it is, no different like Dwayne Bacon. I can reprimand him, but I can reprimand him the way, like I'm telling you. But this other guy who was just off the chain, I have to say, hey, listen, man, yada, 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 dot. You know what I'm saying? In a hard way, because he receives it well. Right. But it depends upon the person. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's important to reward. That is so important, because folks, I don't care who you are. I ain't into awards. I ain't into this and that. Everybody wants to be recognized in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
No doubt.
No doubt. That's my take.
Yeah, and that's good, because you know, as you said, you can't lead everyone the same way. There's no cookie cutter, right? I'm not necessarily a screamer, as I've never been like a screamer, right? Yeller. However, some people might disagree, right? But however, them the ones that I'm talking about, right?
Right.
You have to know who you're dealing with, because at the end of the day, I need you to receive the message.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I need you to say, I got it, and really get it.
Yeah.
So, as the leader, you can't just say, this is the way I'm gonna do it, because everybody in the audience might not grab that, or the audience that you need to get it might not grab that. So you have to really curtail curtail your message to your audience. They got to be able to say, got you, I got it, right? And that might be pulling to the side. That might be checking them in front of in front of the team, right? But because it all depends. It all depends. You know, it depends on them, not you, not your feeling, right? It depends on them, right? So that's something that's good. So number 8, we kind of touched on this one. In 7, you got to motivate by encouragement, not fear, right?
Right.
I just don't believe in intimidation, right? I don't believe, you know, I know I'm a big guy, and I don't believe in leading you because you fear me, right? Because I don't believe I'm gonna get your best in, right? So leaders who inspire loyalty, they want to motivate, they want to encourage, I want you to do this like it was for you, like not for the team or not for the company. I want you to do this for you, right? Because great leaders, and you know, you don't threaten, right? I always say, I don't send idle threats. If I say this, if I say you do this, you're gonna run 5 miles. You better bring your running shoes if you don't do it, right? There ain't no idle threat. That's what you're gonna do, right? You encourage the team, right? You encourage the team. You encourage them. You encourage them. You encourage the team. You want them to understand that the odds might be against us, right? Everything might not go the way we want, but we're gonna work and we're gonna rally and we're gonna move forward, right? Because I believe great leaders are great encouragers. I do believe that.
Yeah, they you lose a sense of loyalty when you try to use that tactic, that style of leadership. You know, it's I remember back in the day, people think because you're a sergeant major, you're supposed to be yelling and cussing and going off on people.
Right.
That was always the concept or the thought process. But the ones that were truly effective were those that did the opposite of that. Right. You know what I'm saying? They knew who he was. You just saw a major. I don't have to prove and nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I used to always say, just because you're a sergeant major don't mean you have to all the time. It's not, this ineffective leadership. You know, how I got up in rank, it's ineffective. You know, be authentic, talk to folks, you know, treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, different things like
that. If I was yelling, right.
Exactly. So, you know, you're right. That's ineffective leadership to me, man. You folks, you start losing whatever loyalty they had in you, it starts slowly going away. Cause like this, now you fall on category, are you disrespecting me?
Right.
Are you, you know, and you know how we can get defensive, you know what I'm saying? And
once that defensive mechanism goes up, now you got a whole nother wall to fight.
Right, exactly. So yeah, you lose some of your power base when you do that.
No doubt. Number nine is shooting it straight, like being above ground, right? That's one thing I always say, that I'm gonna tell you how it is, right? You know, the one thing gonna get out of me, gonna get what God loves, the truth.
Right.
I'm gonna give you the truth, right?
Yeah.
That may be what you want to hear, right? Maybe it might not be what you want to hear, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be the truth. All right. I'm gonna say what I mean, and I'm gonna mean what I say. I think one of my biggest pet peeves is people not doing what they say.
Oh, being a man of their word, or
right.
Yeah.
I like, do what you say. Like, you said you was gonna do that, you know, do it. Right. You know, and I believe that's important. Like, when people come to me or see me when they're dealing with me, you ain't gotta guess how I'm feeling. You ain't gotta guess on what's going on. Because I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you, hey, you know, this is what's going on. All right, this is how I feel. You ain't gonna have to try to figure it out. It ain't gonna be vague. I ain't gonna have no encrypted messages. You know what I mean? The culture, we're gonna have a good culture of communication and openness. We're gonna be able to talk, right? You're gonna be able to understand. And I believe when you do that, when you do those things, loyalty comes, right? Because they'll know, all right, if Chief's telling me this, or Coach telling me this, or Ray telling me this, he mean that. Like, hey, he knows that, right? And it goes all the way back to caring. Like, he cares. I know he cares because he's telling me that. Because you can't really correct people, right? You can't really check people and your people when you don't care, right? Back to that. Like, you don't care. They're like, hey, man, like, you missed me with that. You telling me all that. You go ahead with that, coach, or you go ahead with that, but they don't believe you care. So you got shooting it straight, leadership.
Yeah, hey, bottom line, like the young folks said, man, to keep it 100.
Keep it a buck.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you gotta keep it real. And by then, you should already have won them over with of them being loyal to you, and show them that you care. And once you got to that point, man, it's easy to keep it real with them because they know you have no hidden agendas.
Right.
They know, he's not telling me this to benefit him. He's telling me this to benefit me. You see what I'm saying? Right. And that's how they have to receive it. Took me a long time to figure that out, but I tell my son all the time when I tell him to do certain things, he's like, Dad, why are you on me so hard? I said, man, everything that comes out of my mouth, son, is to benefit you. I'm good.
Right.
I can be selfish to say, hey, do what you do. But no, you're a product of me. You're a product of Polk. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to tell you everything I need to tell you until you leave next month to go in the Army. After that, Doc, hopefully I've given you all the tools to success that you need. And I want you to go out there and be a productive citizen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
No, you're good. So you know, the last one is this one, and I believe wholeheartedly in this. Leaders have fun. Like I tell you, good leaders who inspire loyalty, they just fun to be around. They fun to be around. They know every moment isn't a dull, solemn, serious moment. They just happy to be around. They embrace the not just after hours, but they embrace the team building activity, the contest, the lighthearted conversations, because it's appreciated by your team, right?
Yeah.
And they really know, as a leader, I know, man, if I can, it's almost going back again, because all these connect, right? All these connect. Yeah. It's going back to being genuine. Like, I genuinely care. Like, if I have fun at home and I'm lighthearted at home. I mean, of course, it's a time and a place, and I like to joke and this and this. That don't stop when I get to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, again, that's being two different people, right?
Yeah,
that's something that I would use.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, like the guy was telling you before, it's our major, whoever he was, he said, he had to, because for a while in my first part of my career, I thought I had to be like that. I had to put my drill sergeant hat on, I had to put my warrant officer hat on, that's draining, man. It's like I'm an actor. I don't want to be an actor. I want you to get all of Jimmy in all these different areas of my life. And when I stopped doing that, man, it was more effective because it was genuine. It's who I am. Like me, dislike me, but this is who I am. You know what I'm saying? And I have no hidden agendas. I'm in the helping business. I'm in the learning business. I want to receive more than I can give because I know I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm just trying to be me. So yeah, that's important, man.
That is, man. Well, that kind of concludes the leadership and loyalty conversation. Man, this has been great. I knew it though. I knew this was going to be great. I want to thank everybody. First, I want to thank you, Jimmy, and I'm going to give you some comments. Thank you for coming on to the show, man. Making the episode pop, which I knew it was. Thank everybody for watching, tuning in. And if you guys have want to hear any topics, any specific topics, please just shoot me a message, put it in the comments, let me know. Also, we started a new Above Ground Leadership Facebook page, Instagram page, so you can go on there and find more content. Again, just trying to make this thing grow. So again, thank y'all for tuning in. Jimmy, any closing comments from you?
Yeah, I got to say this, man. I get a little excited. Remember I told you I got a little ADHD.
Yeah,
but man, I have to say this to all leaders, to all entrepreneurs, to all folks that just want to encourage and inspire people. What I've learned, I'm telling you, you have to be real careful. T.D. Jakes talked about a metaphor in reference to the giraffe and the turtle. And one thing about a giraffe and a turtle, we're on common ground, right? But a giraffe can see over the top of the trees. He can see his vision. He can see where I'm trying to go, his mission. And so oftentimes we as leaders, giraffes, we go down with the turtles and say, listen, man, I saw this. We can take it to this level. We can do this or that. And we try to bring them up. Some of them don't want to be brought up. So I've learned over the years, only, you pitch it to them, but if they're not receiving it, you go to that next turtle that want to see what you see. And you put that joke on your back so he can get up there and see where you're trying to go. You see what I'm saying? Then I realized that with giraffes, if they lower their head, lower than their heart, oftentimes they'll pass out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm like this, Ray, I passed out a lot of time because I wasted a lot of time on people that didn't even want it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So now I've learned to focus my attention on those that want to receive what I got to tell them. And then they'll be able to go up and see your vision, like your vision in reference to above ground leadership. And tell you, everybody ain't happy for you. Everybody's like, oh man, that ain't gonna work. I'm excited. I'm super excited, and like a little kid, because I know you see something and I want to be that turtle, get on your back, because I want to kind of take a peek over and be like, I see what this cat sees, and I'm supporting. And I wish that everybody do the same thing, man. So thanks for having me, man. Anytime, Doc, you need me.
Oh, we'll definitely do it again. We definitely do it again. So, hey, again, thanks everyone for tuning in. That'll be the end of this episode. Y'all be great today. Have a great day.